wireless mice are a game changer for most computer users. There's no ugly tail wiggling across the desk, no visual tether that could suffer potential damage. Even more, newer mice have virtually no latency thanks to modern wireless connectivity. Who needs cables, right? MX Vertical is an advanced ergonomic mouse that combines science-driven design with the elevated performance of Logitech MX series. The natural handshake position of MX Vertical is designed to reduce wrist pressure and forearm strain associated with repetitive stress injury, RSI, and carpal tunnel syndrome, CTS. The unique 57 degrees vertical angle has been optimized for an ergonomic posture without compromising a pixel of performance. MX Vertical features a 4000 dpi high-precision sensor, resulting in 4x less hand movement and reducing fatigue. And the cursor speed switch allows you to instantly adjust DPI speed and accuracy with the touch of a button. MX Vertical stays powered for up to 4 months on a full charge, and gets 3 hours of use from a 1-minute quick charge. As compared with a traditional non-vertical mouse. As compared with a traditional mouse with 1000p sensor. Battery life may vary based on user and computing conditions. It starts with the Razer Focus Plus optical sensor. A new bit of kit Razer has slotted into both this mouse and the Basilisk Ultimate. The Basilisk is the bigger of the two, and comes with more customizable buttons, while the Viper Ultimate is slimmer and ambidextrous. The sensor runs up to 20,000 dpi/CPI higher than anything you'll find on our best gaming mouse list. The Viper Ultimate is also loaded with Razer's hyperspeed wireless transmission tech, which it claims is 25% faster than competitors. According to Razer, you should be able to achieve latencies of less than 0.2 milliseconds, which is essentially the same as the wired version of the Viper. In other words, it should perform just as well as the best wired mice. And thankfully, it does just that. It tracked well on a variety of surfaces. I used it on a soft mouse pad most of the time, which is the ideal setup, but when I used it directly on my desk it still felt responsive. It even tracked well when I was using it on a sofa cushion. The long life battery means you can keep playing for days on end without worrying about charging. Razer claims it will last 70 hours between charges, and my experience wasn't far off. I used it as my main mouse for an entire week without it running out of battery. When I measured it during intense gaming, I was draining around 2 to 3% per hour, which would pan out to somewhere between 35 and 50 hours of battery life. However, I was using the responsive lighting setting, which illuminates the Razer logo on the mouse when you click. If you turn the light off entirely you could definitely squeeze more life out of it. The Logitech G502 Lightspeed is a great gaming mouse for discerning gamers who don't want to compromise, as well as people who have no idea what they should look for in a mouse. It's comfortable, feature-packed, and even though it's wireless, it's a fast and accurate performer that doesn't feel at a disadvantage against opponents using wired mice. The G502 Lightspeed has Logitech's best features for its gaming and general use mice rolled into one. The main buttons deliver a satisfying bounce response when you tap them, and unlike some other popular models, they click easily no matter how you grip your hand on the mouse. This mouse also features a quick release button, a feature borrowed from other Logitech consumer-focused and gaming mice. By default, the scroll wheel staggers down a web page with each step, which is how you expect a scroll wheel to work. Tapping the button releases the mechanism gripping the wheel, allowing it to freely sail to the bottom of a long page. It's a small feature, one that gives the mouse more versatility in certain situations, like being able to quickly scroll through your inventory when in a game. The G502 Lightspeed has plenty of other gaming-centric features. Logitech's latest sensor, the Hero 16K, is capable of up to 16,000 dpi and over 400 inches per second, with a 1000 Hz report rate. It supports a wide range of sensitivities so that, depending on your playstyle and desk setup, it accommodates both small and sweeping arm movements with the push of one of its macro buttons. Another nice feature is the inclusion of 16 grams of additional weights you can insert into the mouse to give it more resistance. A mouse's weight comes down to personal preference, and that could vary from game to game. This mouse is among the few modern wireless devices to give you the flexibility to change up the weight. Right-handed with a short thumb wing, the 5-button Chukram feels a bit like a first-person shooter mouse, with a knobby twist. It sports 2 main click buttons and a scroll wheel on top, plus 2 macro buttons on its left side. Push past those, to where the end of your thumb rests, and you'll find the detachable analog stick, which can add 4 extra inputs should you want to incorporate standard joystick controls. The underside of the mouse features 3 additional, non-customizable controls: a power switch that toggles between Bluetooth and 2.4 GHz modes, a DPI preset select button, and a Bluetooth pairing button. With the Chukram, the analog stick is, of course, the star of the show. The default, short version of the stick actually looks more like a disc, which fits flush against the side of the mouse. Technically, the stick can operate as a 4-way directional pad or a 360-degree control stick, akin to one of the sticks on a controller gamepad. In theory, the analog stick mode allows you to get that naturalistic, fine-tuned movement in third-person action games that normally require a controller. The Chukram, by contrast, feels like the first mouse that has figured out a way to add a joystick that works without a painful configuration process. Essentially, one of the mouse's 3 onboard profiles can be recognized and programmed as a gamepad. It isn't 100% plug and play, but it isn't hard to manage once you do it for the first time. The Chukram is the first mouse to support Asus' new configuration software, Armoury Crate. Crate, I feel, is a big step up from the company's legacy app, Armoury 2. It looks nicer, reads clean, and loads quicker. As I've written in the past, poor config software has held Asus ROG peripherals back from competing fully with top brands like Logitech and Razer in the past, so a new, improved software platform feels like a big upgrade for the brand in general. The Basilisk Ultimate's core look and feel remain mostly unchanged from the original. It's technically an 11-button, right-handed model, though it has only 9 customizable buttons. On top, you have the usual 2 main clickers, a scroll wheel that clicks, and 2 resolution swapping buttons. On the side, you have 2 macro/shortcut buttons and a detachable FPS-minded sniper paddle that, by default, drops your tracking resolution to low sensitivity for precise clicking. So where do the last 2 buttons come from? The scroll wheel on the Basilisk got a little hop up. In addition to the usual scroll wheel down click, you can now tilt the scroll wheel to the left or right. The tilt function feels great in action, both for everyday use and in gaming. While browsing the web and looking at documents, I found myself tilting the wheel to scroll up and down pages instead of rolling it. In games, it pays to reconfigure these tilt actions to your key commands, as it's faster to tilt the wheel, where you already have a finger resting, than to reach a side button by repositioning your thumb. The Basilisk Ultimate isn't the only mouse adding these inputs here in late 19, but it's the first I've reviewed, and I hope more companies embrace it. Part of the comfort is the thumb wing, which returns and continues to stand apart, despite the fact that so many mice employ some kind of extended thumb support. This one isn't too large or too small, and the curve is just the right shape to let you rest your thumb for long play sessions, or to support it while you grip the side of the mouse. I did note a couple of small differences. The Basilisk Ultimate has a pair of extra lighting elements, comprising a pair of thin accent lines high on the mouse's sides. On the thumb side, the line sits right above the macro buttons. It's subtle, but the added lights, along with the lighting in the palm and scroll wheel, make the lighting a strong element, especially since you can actually see the side lights while you're playing.